Kelsey Zeiser with Light Reading, and we're here at OrbTV and Mobile World Congress in Barcelona, and I'm joined by Shawn Hakl with Verizon.
Hey,
Good to see you, Shawn.
Good to see you as well. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here. So we'd love to hear an update on Verizon's IoT strategies for 2018, if there's anything new that we can be looking out for.
Yeah, this year we're really focused on, we've always been focused on making sure we meet the needs of our customers in implementing these solutions. I think, so we'll continue to focus on basically, if you look at what we need to do for a living, it's connecting devices to services. The change in focus for BIN is we initially started with the thesis that you had to supply sort of an end-to-end solution, but as that ecosystem has evolved out, there's been sort of less necessity to have sort of an all-in-one, and you can start to focus more on your core strengths. So as we do that, we're looking at, one, making it easier to onboard devices and customers on sort of that device side of the equation. We're looking to work very closely with a number of our partners internationally to ensure that when people build solutions using Verizon's technology, they're able to deploy to their customers anywhere in the world. And then finally, we're making it easier and faster for us to integrate into the cloud ecosystem, which is really where the apps sit, which is where the services reside. So, and the net effect of that is to make it easier for our customers to deploy solutions and implement them and essentially extend their business globally.
Okay, and we'd also like to know more about your wireless strategy and some updates on 5G, since we're here at Mobile World Congress, of course.
Does seem like we should be talking about that. So Verizon's very strongly focused on being the first to market with a real 5G solution in 2018, in both the fixed wireless space as well as in the mobility space. And that, of course, is a major focus area for us.
And you've had a lot of updates late last year with virtual network services. If you could give us a look ahead, what can we be expecting for that in 2018?
Yeah, so Verizon will continue to lead the way with the implementation of this next generation of networking technology. Virtualization is exciting. We've seen the amount of disruption it's driven, both from a technology perspective and a business model perspective in other parts of the technology stack, particularly in the data center and cloud stack. And we'll continue to see that roll through the networking side. So we've added both sort of SDWin as well as the virtualized services stack on top of that. We then added the white box option, giving people new options for hardware at their site. Most recently, we launched with hosted network services, which is where you can essentially host VNFs in the cloud and have them delivered to your site sort of over any VPN connection. Works across anyone's networks, ours, someone else's, mobile, fixed, broadband, etc. Really this year, though, what we're focused on is the automation aspect. So we implemented with our partners at Ericsson a very sophisticated orchestration engine that allows us to build complex service chains organized around end user outcomes, business outcomes. So people don't want to buy router, they don't want to buy firewall, they want to connect a set of users to a set of applications. And so what we can do is build a complex service chain using individual VNFs, all geared around meeting a single sort of business outcome or business goal. And so we've got that up and running and working and deployed at a number of customers. We're just going to continue building both a number of cases and the amount of policy abstraction and the amount of business logic we can insert into those service chains.
And you mentioned automation. How else are partnerships key to your automation and virtualization strategy?
So it's, you know, as you get more sophisticated, you get to talk, you know, you're covering more elements of the value chain. You're helping customers solve increasingly sophisticated problems. You bring, you know, that often entails bringing in more partners to provide individual elements of that. So you'll continue to see us work closely with other organizations to, you know, I've talked about some of the stuff we did with VNFs, but as you bring in sort of the unified communications element of that to overlay the two, we launched SBC as a service as a VNF. It's natural then to link that into a contact center offering, which is then natural to link that into sort of a CPaaS solution, the ability to basically expose all of that as APIs to be built into customers' business processes. So they use the underlying technology, the network, to make transactions with their customers more secure by getting better data about where the customer is and who they are. And as well as to use that in a multi-channel or omni-channel experience to give the customer more complete service experience, right? You can start on your mobile, transition to web or back and forth. So just layering up these technologies in a way that is highly automated, so it's relatively seamless, just enriches the customer experience and drives our customers' digital transformation forward.
Okay, that makes sense. And we also talked a little bit about SDWin. If you had any other updates there on any changes to Verizon's strategy for SDWin, or what we can hope to see in the next few months.
Strategy's been working pretty good, so
Right.
I think we're going to more extend than change. We continue to be extremely pleased with the adoption of SD-WAN. One thing that I would say is that just sort of as we've been quasi-predicting, but also pushing, the number of customers who are moving away from special purpose appliances to white box based solutions has increased dramatically. In other words, I think lately we see much less sort of special purpose hardware implementation and a lot more white box solutions. And that comes part and parcel with people not just using SD-WAN standalone, but then using it to integrate VNFs. So the more VNFs that are out there, security services offer a popular one, but we also see a lot of action around WAN acceleration, along with adding in the communications elements, SBC as a service, and then sort of more traditional sub-trunking linked into those solutions. We see a lot more folks now doing that with us, and so we're very excited about that, hence the need for the policy abstraction layer, the orchestration, and is just the focus around delivering that business outcome for people.
Okay, and again, looking at the enterprise side of telecom, any other main takeaways from this year's show?
Well, it's interesting. Obviously, everybody's looking at the possibilities of what IoT is capable of doing now, and there's still a lot of runway with that on 4G, and then with 5G really comes a few interesting things, right? So obviously the ability to deploy IoT at a much more massive scale and sort of in individual density means that there'll be more devices, which means you need more automation to manage that, right? In other words, you can't scale if you're sort of hand sewing everything together, which is really what happens with first generation solutions. It's a natural evolution of the technology. So what we're seeing a lot here as we work with our partners and supplier organizations that we bring together is really a strong focus in understanding how you're going to manage an extended ecosystem that's done at sort of very, very broad scale. And that's where, again, the work around virtualization allows you to scale, the work around automation allows you to manage in that environment. So it's really bringing together those technologies with the end outcome, again, of delivering services that customers can use to extend either the digital transformation, enriching their customer experience, or in many cases, we're instrumenting the real physical world, right? I mean, we've seen a lot of energy around virtual goods and services, and that's fun and exciting, but IoT gives you automation and the ability to see things real time in the real world. So it's very exciting for a lot of our customers because it just upgrades the whole experience of their products.
Right. That makes a lot of sense. Well, thanks so much for your time, Shawn. It's been a pleasure.
It's been great. Thank you very much for having me.
Great. This is Light Reading for OrbTV.